Sir, as a diplomat, please give your perspective on human rights of stateless persons who have no nationality and refugee status in the world.
Or else you write down your questions and choose them.
We are stateless people, and I told you about QNA that they are denied the right to have rights. I have seen stateless people. I was in Hungary. My last assignment was there as Indian ambassador. This was in 2015 when I saw a lot of Syrian refugees coming to Europe. And how they were treated at that time because they had no home, they were homeless, they were lawless, they were absolutely in danger. They were coming from Syria mostly because Syria was a despotic rule of the Syrian government. So they were filtering into Europe in thousands. And these were the migrants. And as I said, Arendt had said that what happens to the migrants, to the refugees, what happens to them? India is not a member of the refugee convention, as you know, 1951. So our behavior towards the migrants is ad hoc. We are not very particular about giving them shelter or housing and food and all that. It's up to us whether we give or not. Look at the Kashmiri Pandits. Kashmiri Pandits migrated from the valley in the 90s, early 90s. Have you seen this five Kashmiri files?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
So somebody called it a propaganda film. But whatever it is, it shows the plight of Kashmiri, Pandits, the Brahmins of Kashmir, who have still not got proper habitation in Delhi. They live in makeshift houses, in colonies. Look at the Bangladeshi refugees who are denied even, anywhere to go in India. The CAA, Citizen Amendment Act, what did it say? That non-Muslim migrants or refugees would be welcome. Those who are coming from neighboring Muslim countries. You know that. But Muslim migrants are not welcome. Okay? So, even they disputed the National Register of Citizens, NRC. It is not fully implemented, though Assam was trying to implement it. And they wanted to cleanse the Muslims out of Assam and send them back to Bangladesh. And even our Honorable Home Minister called them termites. Remember that? The Bangladeshi refugees are called termites. So, the situation is bad. We don't have a fixed policy towards the migrants. In fact, countries who adhere to the Convention on Refugees also do not treat the refugees quite well. Because the primary reason is that they take away jobs from their poor people. And therefore they feel that they are coming to snatch our jobs. So we will not welcome them. Okay? Have I answered your question?
Sir, there is a certain difference between stateless persons and refugees. My question is towards stateless persons.
Well, there is a pedagogical difference. There is nothing much. Stateless person and refugees.
No, sir, there is some
stateless
legal issues
persons.
also there.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, according to the refugee commission, stateless persons have to identity of refugees by the state. They have to got identity from the state as a refugee. That's because they are called stateless people. Yes.
Yes, you are right, because stateless person need to prove their identity.
Sir.
They have to get an identity card. Like happened to Bangladeshi refugees. There are thousands of them in Bengal. who have got identity cards, who have got ration cards. In Odisha also. Full of state. And what happens is, the interesting thing is, politicians give them all the commissions.
Vote bank.
Why? Because they become vote banks. Really. So this is what the reality is. You still have something to ask?
Thank you. Sir, I have a question.
One by one.
Now,
So my name is Lata Vaisakhi Sahu, a student of PG second year. So my question is, so please highlight the right of premature baby or the babies inside the mother's womb.
Rights.
Yes, sir.
highlight. Well, the only thing I can say is Supreme Court has now agreed to abolish when the baby is 36, 36
33 now has been allowed.
has been allowed. Yeah, so I don't know whether you call that a premature baby or not, whether the baby is formed at that time or not. But Supreme Court has now allowed the abortion of 33 weeks. When the baby is 33 weeks in the mother's womb, the baby can be aborted. So the Supreme Court has recently said that. But I don't know, premature baby, what do you mean by premature baby? Because premature baby, when the baby is 7 months old, premature baby.
So baby inside the mother's womb. Baby inside the
Depends on
mother's
the time it is in the mother's womb. If it is not that much, within 33 weeks, then
No, she is not asking about abortion, sir. She is asking about the diet and nutrition which will be available to the baby.
Not exactly, I think.
Not exactly.
I think sir has answered.
Answer.
Sir has okay. Omkar, after Omkar.
Namaskar, myself is Omkar Patnaik and I am from PG second year. So whatever you said from the foreign policy perspective, it was absolutely true that we are implementing some kind of tit for tat policy. Instead of becoming ethical in the true sense, we are becoming like आपने ऐसा किया so हम भी ऐसा किए, which I think it is also quite wrong. But sir, I have a question that from the realist perspective, we have two enemies in our border, that is Pakistan and China. So what should be our countermeasure to counter them?
counter to what?
Counter to China and Pakistan's axis, which they are planning for invading India in the future.
China, Pakistan axis.
Yes.
Counter that, sir.
How to counter China and Pakistan's
Axis.
aggression towards
India, yes.
That's, it calls for another discussion. I have to cover.
It's completely different lectures.
Well, the short point is that we are in the middle of these two adversarial powers, and people are talking about having a two-pronged attack. And I read a recent book where it says that China could attack India, and the war could last for 10 days. And within 10 days, without much use of manpower, China would not only invade India,
Conquer it.
but take away Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh. It's an interesting book. I don't know how much it's true, but China is building on its cyber capabilities a lot. It will be a cyber warfare, mostly. So it will not put as many men on the front as to machines. It may completely paralyze India's.
That's why so many social medias were banned.
Yes. PUBG was banned recently because of spying intrusive activities. Sir.
54, I think, number of
But to
social.
answer your question, I think our armed forces are also getting much prepared.
Yes, sir.
And they know of this kind of a situation. That's what we call a hybrid warfare.
Yes.
India's forces are now engaging in hybrid warfare. So even if there is a cyber warfare, India could be able to resist Chinese attacks.
Yes.
That's what our policymakers feel. That's what our generals feel. So let us believe in them and see what happens.
Yes.
If both sides attack, we will have also some allies to help us. During the Bangladesh war, Russia helped us. Now, of course, Russia has, but still, because India has been consistently supporting Russia against Ukraine, you never know, Russia can come to our aid also. Though Russia is a thick friend of China and is also helping Pakistan. So we don't know how the international scene will play out.
Role of Israel can be instrumental.
Yeah. It is at this moment an abstract scenario. One can't give a very, very direct answer, a direct, definite answer. But India is also building up its forces, building up its sinews. It's not to be taken lightly. Only thing I would say that India's hard power is somewhat lacking at this moment. India has focused more on its soft power capabilities. So the hard power element is missing. And what is hard power? The hard power is military strength and the economic strength. And economic strength, as we all know, India is not in a very great state despite all these statistics. Frankly, I don't believe in all that statistics. They are really with jargon, nothing else. Sometimes World Bank says 6.5, sometimes it says 6.8. The next day it goes up to 6.6. So, I mean, it depends on the day-to-day what India's economy is faring. But overall, India's economy is faring little better than before. And in comparison to other emerging economies, India is doing not badly. Its resilience is quite good. Its macroeconomic fundamentals are good. So we hope that India's economy will get robustness in the days to come. So India's economy should be strong, and India's economy should support a strong military. That is what is very important. And if we emphasize more on a hard power, then India becomes a power to be reckoned with. Just by becoming the president of G20 and bringing the lotus and all that stuff and making it a publicity issue, we are not going to be the leader of the world. In fact, I wrote a recent article which was published in the Odisha Post and what I sent you can circulate to them. I wrote about it in Odisha Post, I think 1 week back, that what G20 presidency of India means actually. All that hoopla that we are doing, and this and that, there is the Sherpas meeting, and India is going strong on, and there are 200 meetings happening, including some in Odisha maybe. What exactly would be the end result of 1 year presidency for India in the G20? It's an interesting question. What do you think will be the outcome of India's presidency of G20? What will it give us some concrete benefits? Does anybody think? If no, or if it indicates, what are those concrete benefits? It is a rotational presidency. India got it this time. Earlier Indonesia was there. Before Italy was there. Now next year Brazil will be there. So it goes by rotation. So 1 year presidency is not a very big manna from heaven that has fallen on Mr. Modi's shoulders. Nothing like that. So if you are gung-ho about it, I think we should cut down our delirium a little bit on that and be more practical and more real. Yeah. Anybody?
Sir, can I ask one question? Sir, what is your opinion about bulldozer policy of Uttar Pradesh? It's harm human rights or not? Bulldozer policy, Yogi Adityanath.
Bulldozer policy. Yogi Adityanath.
Bulldozer politics in Odisha, bulldozers have enough. We don't have sufficient number of bulldozers to bulldoze homes. Yeah, but I think UP has a lot of bulldozers. They can use these bulldozers. That is against fundamental rights.
Yeah.
That is against the right to housing. That is fundamental right. You see, the poor have no voice, frankly. The Muslims have lost their voice. So if somebody comes and destroys a Muslim home, the man will just run away. And I have seen pictures of while the house is being destroyed and the people are running away, they are being chased by the policemen and attacked. The house burned or bulldozed, and the men of the house, men and women of the house, beaten by the local police. That also happens. So the bulldozer politics, I doubt why anybody is not filing a DIL on this, on the bulldozer, use of bulldozer, or has it been filed? I don't know. Has the Chandrachud led very progressive bench taken it up? I don't know. Why should they? And another question I would like to throw at you is, look, the directive principles of state policy is supposed to bring about a social revolution, which is very much needed in India. Everybody talks about a social revolution. But why is it still made non-justiciable? Why can't they be justiciable? The major difference why we treat directive principles so cursorily is because they are non-justiciable and fundamental rights are justiciable. If your fundamental rights are infringed, you can go to court. But if your directive principles are not taken care of, then you have no recourse. That, in my view, is a very strict, very strong anomaly, not only in our constitution, and I will give you the background to it. And by Ambedkar, when the Constituent Assembly debates were going on this, he fought tooth and nail to make directive principles also obligatory on the state. But he was, he had to surrender to the majority voice at that time. You know why? Because the other people were thinking that India, with its meager finances, because India had not become a very strong economy at that time, could not afford to implement the directive principles. So if you make them justiciable, you will make it obligatory on the state to observe them. And the state cannot observe them because of lack of sufficient finances. I think this is a very trivial reason, and in the present time, in my view, the time has come where directive principles should be made justiciable also. So that you have not only political freedom, political equality, but social and economic equality also to everybody. I think that will be the state which we need because of our wide disparities in the population, because of our wide diversities in our population. We need it. I think it's a question of need now. A constitutional bench should go into this to assess the need for making directive principles of state policy justiciable, in my view. So, yes.
You have said that the foreign policies will be incorporated with the laws and principles. They both have to be incorporated in a foreign policy of a nation. So, sir, my question is that in the realist world, if principles are protected, then how can a nation survive itself? What is bigger? It is national interest or human rights of our land?
Sir, he's talking about the principles guiding the foreign policy of India. What is more important? He's asking the principles, or should we go with the national interest?
National interest or
national interest?
National interest or human rights?
National interest versus human rights.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Have you compared an apple with an orange?
No, sir.
Yeah. So national interest and principles are like apple and orange. They are not comparable. Sometimes you use national interest when it benefits the people of India. Like now, in the we are gaining benefit out of the Ukraine war continuing. When there is this new asserting a oil cap on oil money, 60% cap, I think India stands to gain the most, because when it's a 60% price of oil, India will buy up a lot of oil. India government says we don't buy, our corporations buy. Are the corporations different from the government? I doubt. But that is the standard Islam. They buy, they sell to refineries, and refineries refine oil, and we export the refined oil. That is what the government of India says. But in any way, India buys it, whether the Indians stay in the government or the family, or the corporation, doesn't matter. Indian Oil Corporation is also Indian. Okay? So, to answer your question, sometimes national interest should precede over foreign policy principles in times of stress. As Jaishankar is putting it very bluntly, that it is now in our national interest. That is in our interest of our citizens, that they will benefit from cheap oil, so we will get cheap oil, come what may. What Europeans say, you are all hypocrites. You did nothing when Asia was burning. Now you are telling us. You are pontificating to us. So we will not listen to you. We will listen to our own people, to our own citizens. So that is what I think. If you balance both, then I think in the end national interest will prevail over foreign policy principles. That is in the present times.
Sir, each capital punishment is essential, and what should be the alternative of it?
Capital punishment, is it important?
There is a huge debate on capital punishment in Europe. Almost all European countries have abolished capital punishment. Though it is prevalent in the US, it is prevalent in a few Arab countries, and of course it is prevalent in authoritarian governments like Russia or China. India, as a democracy, in my view, should abolish capital punishment. That is my personal view.
What should be the alternative of it?
What should be the
Alternative.
alternative? Is imprisonment, life imprisonment. Full life imprisonment. You see, life imprisonment here in our legal terms means 14 years. If you complete 14 years and be a good boy in the jail, you can even be released before 14 years. So, I think that is the punishment, it is again a grey area. We haven't fully said no or yes to capital punishment. But capital punishment are very rare these days. I don't see, except for terrorists, I suppose.
Last question.
Sir, you have mentioned that this is the time to implement or enforce the directive principles of state policy. Yes, sir? Yes. So, if the government is now interested to make the uniform civil code, so you are saying it is not good. So, it's contradictory. No. So, can you say in favor of this also? Why it is not good for our nation?
The directive principles should be just as a...
No, because our constitution makers has some reason that in future we will implement a uniform civil code also. So why you are opposing uniform civil code?
Opposing
Opposing.
No. He had mentioned that, so that's why I am asking.
So your views on uniform civil code? Your views on uniform civil code?
Uniform civil code. I mentioned about it in Article 24 of the directive. And now there is a big fight going on in the upper house of the parliament. Opposition is not fully agreeable to the implementation of the uniform civil code. You see, the sting of the uniform civil code is to equalize all ethnic communities with one code. That is, there should be no personal laws. There should be no Hindu personal laws or Muslim personal laws or any other personal laws. So, they will abolish the personal laws and bring in one code. I should tell you that Ambedkar was a great votary of the Uniform Civil Code. In fact, he introduced the Uniform Civil Code. But at that time, this thing was also not agreed to by the majority in the parliament, which led to his resignation as law minister. Not many people know that. Ambedkar resigned on the ground that the Uniform Civil Code, which was his making, his baby, was not accepted by the majority of the parliament. He resigned in protest. So, if you ask me, if you want to make India an equalizer society, Uniform Civil Code is okay, but then you should give equal rights to all people. Do not take away rights from one section of the society and give more rights to another section of the society just because their religion doesn't match with yours. Don't do that. We saw what happened with Ram Janmabhoomi, how the entire judgment was manipulated. And we saw how the Muslims were cheated because of that, though they said it was an egregious violation of rights. But where was the egregiousness when the judgment went fully in favor of the Hindus? So I have certain differences with the government's behavior, social behavior. And if you want to have a social democracy, you have to protect every section of the society. The Muslims of India are also Muslims, are also Indians. They may be Muslims, but they are also Indians. So you cannot throw them out into the Indian Ocean, or you cannot drive them back to Pakistan. That's not possible. You can change any number of places, make them Hindu names, abolish the Muslim names. All that is possible. But hitting at the identities of the people, that should not be allowed. So if you try to, it's the opposite of this, what do they say? The jihad.
Love jihad.
Love jihad. It is the reverse love jihad. If you do that, that is a problem. My problem is that I refuse to accept certain norms which have come into the Indian society, which have been in a way stabilized into it. And I will go more philosophically that today the Indian populace, devoid of any support groups, of any strong civic groups, are more or less weakly surrendering into this changed normative society. The norms are changing. And we are haplessly surrendering to this changed norms. And that is my problem. I cannot accept that. As a free citizen of India, I cannot accept that. I have to raise my voice, as I am raising it here, within close. Any other questions?
Yes, the last question.
Sir, tribal people are highly faced displacement due to developmental projects. So if we think the land rights and the cultural rights of the tribal, then somewhere can we compromise with the development? So what's your view about
Construction of dams, projects,
I told that, no? Tribal land is being taken away, and in this place big projects are coming up, and that I feel is a big injustice to the tribals of India. I think these development projects should be I don't say it should be stopped, but there should be a caution about it. There should be a caution that you cannot deprive the tribals of the land, of their livelihood, of the forest. These are their sustenance. If you keep cutting, what is it? Niyam is a classic case. Again is a classic case. Industries are coming. Yeah, they come in. They want to make an industry here. Now this Odisha, Kashmir or whatever it has raised so much of funds. Where will this industry be set up? How will the government give compensation? According to the constitution, the government has to give compensation to the people who are deprived of their livelihood and land. So the government has so much of money to give compensation to people because these industries will proliferate. So what will happen to the people, to the common people whose land will be snatched away? That is a big question. It's a question of governance now. And the government has to think about it.
The last
The last question.
All right. Last or last?
Sir, when we are talking about human rights, sir, manual scavenging is a major problem, and it has been practiced since long. Sir, if we go, if we go to the village or rural level, sir, it is being practiced today. Sir, who is responsible for this? Whether the state is responsible or the individual itself is responsible? Manual scavenging.
Manual scavenging. Manual scavenging. That is still there in the rural areas, so Mr. who is responsible for that?
Yeah, it's a very serious question, manual scavenging. Manual scavenging is prohibited as per law. But the Dalits, the lowest strata of the population, is still engaged in manual scavenging with no protection. No protection. Recently, I think in Puri, my town, there was a manual scavenger who fell into a drain and he died while falling into a drain. There was a manual scavenger. Recently it happened. So there is no protection for the person affected or for his family. They give evidence to the family. So I think manual scavenging is a very, very serious social problem, and it has to be abolished the soonest better. And I don't know about Bhubaneswar, BMC, what is BMC's policy? Puri has a municipality, but the municipality is not very active in Puri. So whatever happens, they do not take much action against it. And in Puri is a town where nobody cares for nobody. It's only they care for God's So that is the beauty of that town. So it's a very, so much material is there that nothing else matters. So that is it. I must tell you that as Madam said at the beginning, I have a library in my house.
Quiet place.
I have a library. I built what I call a public library with private initiative. All the books which I have collected during my lifetime, about 5,000 books, I have made it a computer-based library. We have a website. We have this thing, what you call Facebook, and all that stuff. And there are about 230 students who are registered with the library, of which 50, 60 come daily. It opens from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 in the evening, every day, except Mondays. So those of you who wish to come, please come. It is basically meant for people who are sitting for the competitive exams. Because most of the books there are